Mimi siwezi tishwa na mtu yeyote. Mimi huogopa Mwenyezi Mungu peke yake, uji moto na umeme, sio binadamu hapa duniani. Mimi usifikiria ukitukana wabunge nitakwambia uache matusi.
Mimi namalizia, I will not even take 1 minute. Nilikuwa nataka kuambia Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wa, hiyo maneno unatusi Rigathi Gachagua. Leo wako hapa mtusi ndio tujue wewe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua yesterday humiliated William Ruto and his allies badly in Nyandarua.
Hao vijana yako rais, nilikuambia kabla hatujakana kabisa. Nikakwambia hao vijana utembea na hawa watakuweka kwa shimo. Hawa akina Ichung'wa nilikuambia wataweka kwa shimo. Mimi nilikushauri rais, nikakwambia hawa watu ya mlima hawapendi usaliti. I told you that betrayal is not forgiven among our people. You chose to listen to Kimani Ichung'wa. Sasa hii jamii imekukataa.
And one man, Kimani Ichung'wa, was right at the center of that humiliation.
Wale watu rais wangepata shida ni hii akina Ichung'wa kama angekuja hapa, kwa sababu ni wasaliti wa jamii yetu na ni watu ambaye wametukana jamii, ati wanasema sisi ni wakabila na hao ni Wakikuyu. Hao vijana yako rais, nilikuambia kabla hatujakosana kabisa. Nikakwambia hao vijana utembea na hawa watakuweka kwa shimo. Hawa akina Ichung'wa nilikuambia wataweka kwa shimo. Mimi nilikushauri rais, nikakwambia hawa watu ya mlima hawapendi usaliti.
Why do you think Rigathi Gachagua picked on Kimani Ichung'wa as one of his subjects during that moment?
Today purports to be issuing threats to Kimani Ichung'wa. Let me tell Wamonyoro from the floor of this house. You know, this Gachagua the man must know there are people you can threaten. There are people you can intimidate, but not Kimani Ichung'wa.
And after humiliating the two, President William Ruto convened an urgent meeting with Kimani Ichung'wa at StatEHOUSE in Nairobi. And Kimani Ichung'wa actually shared the photos. And from these photos here, you can clearly see that they are trying to send a message. And because in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence, everything is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve specific objectives. In this video, I want us to try and figure out why President Ruto convened this urgent meeting at StatEHOUSE with Kimani Ichung'wa after Rigathi Gachagua humiliated them.
Tafadhali rais, umwambie Kimani Ichung'wa tunaenda Kikuyu Saturday. Amepanga wakora kupiga watu, kuchoma manyumba, kuharibu biashara. Mwambie Kimani Ichung'wa awache hiyo ujinga na utoto, umepitwa na wakati.
But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two. Please the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Kimani Ichung'wa posted after meeting with President William Ruto. Of course, there was that meeting, and again, he shared the photos. But let me just read for you what he captioned. StatEHOUSE, Nairobi. Wrapped up the day at StatEHOUSE, Nairobi, where we joined His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto for the US Congressional Leaders Meeting. Of course, there was also this meeting. But after this meeting, Kimani Ichung'wa shared the above photos. Ladies and gentlemen, if today you are appointed as the chief advisor to President William Ruto, especially as far as Mount Kenya politics is concerned, you are the main advisor now. What would you advise President Ruto to do? For me, if I were to be given that job, I'd give the president a very simple and direct advice. Please, Mount Kenya, is gone. If you are looking for votes, try elsewhere. There is nothing which will persuade Mount Kenya to vote for William Ruto ahead of 2027 election. As a matter of fact, in the next 3 months, things are going to get out of hands for William Ruto in Mount Kenya. And therefore, the best he can do is to look for votes elsewhere. But the meeting between the president and Kimani Ichung'wa were generally intended to achieve the following. Number one, they went to discuss the rejection in Nyandarua. You see, initially, the plan was to arrest Gachagua before that burial. Of course, the NIS advised them against doing that because, of course, the ground was a bit hostile for them. And then after that, there were also the plans to ensure that Gachagua was not going to be allowed to speak. They wanted to make the event presidential. Of course, the mood, because you also clearly saw Gachagua was prepared for this. He spent the night in Olokalao. He slept just a few kilometers, actually walking distance to the venue. So he was prepared. And therefore, even attempt to stop him from speaking could not work. And the crowd was with them. For the first time in history, Gachagua, a civilian, lectured President Ruto like a child. And there was nothing the president could do because the crowd was with him. If you compared Rigathi to Raila, you see, Raila was a totally different breed. But Rigathi is also something else. So maybe these guys, Ruto did not believe what he saw. And therefore he just called Ichungwa, please, let us come and tell me what really transpired here. Number two, I'm looking at them as trying to figure out their comeback strategy. Because after the humiliating experience, there's going to be a by-election. These guys can make a comeback in that by-election if they will defeat Rigathi Gachagua in that by-election. But again, if Rigathi Gachagua will emerge victorious, that's going to mark the end of William Ruto. In fact, some of William Ruto's allies from the mountain will now start drifting towards Rigathi Gachagua. But do you think there is any possible comeback strategy which they can launch after that humiliating defeat? I don't think so. Because remember, this is the worst part of it. Most of the people who attended this event were actually ferried by bus. Not by Rigathi Gachagua's team, no, by William Ruto's team. So basically, they transported their supporters to go and heckle them without knowing. Why? Just because the mountain has decided that they don't want anything to do with William Ruto. Number three, and this is something which is going to happen. Ruto is planning to meet with Mount Kenya leaders after this, because probably most of them were facilitated to mobilize. Then you mobilize a crowd, and when the guy is walking to the podium, he's cheered. If Metho is walking, he's cheered. And this is your crowd. So he wants to meet with these leaders to explain. And some of us who've known how to operate, some of them might actually be forced to refund the money they were given to mobilize. And of course, in that meeting, they will also be able to explain. I know, I can predict what they'll tell the president. They will tell the president, you know, the people who went there were not people from Nyandarua. It's only good that this event took place there in Nyandarua, where you can't claim that people are ferried from Kondaelai or from wherever. Otherwise, they would have claimed that people actually ferried. They would have told President, you know, these people were ferried from Kondele or Kibera. No. And importantly, they were trying to craft a counter strategy, which I don't think will work. You know, the mountain are very unique in that once they decide, they decide. So whether they are going to land into a ditch or whether they are going to go where, once they decide, they've decided. That's why sometimes, like in the last election, they were advised, but they had decided that for them, it was Ruto. So even if Uhuru tried to tell them, you know, this is not the best for you, we should do, that's same. That's what we want. Huyo mwizi wetu ndio tunataka. That's their mentality. So I doubt if there's going to be any possible counter strategy for Rigathi. He's already captured the mountain. And lastly, is it possible that Kimani was humiliated, Ruto was humiliated, so they went to console each other? I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. And by the way, my friend Godfrey Ososi was attacked in Kisumu. And it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And it's not good for the country. It's not good for the local politics. And of course, for the businesses. I know most of you don't know. But Ososi, Godfrey, is one of my best friends here, online here, and of course, offline. Most of the time, when it comes to Kisumu, or if he's in Kisumu, we most of the time hang out. He normally tells me, Lee, kuja hapa. Yeah? And we talk a lot of politics with him. He's a good guy. And sometimes you ask yourself, Ososi is a one-term person. But is he a threat to anybody, especially in Nyanza? Why do you attack him? Is it fair to attack Ososi? Then tomorrow you'll expect to go to Vihiga. Some of these things really, they are not necessary. I'm actually very angry. Yeah, but it's okay. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.